Writing an icon with elementary schools.
Congratulations, you've made it to level 10. Episode 10, the session that we're on right now, we're going to need the yellow paint and a lot of pushing the pause button, because today we're going to try and paint the entire face. So everyone, today at this particular session, we're really going to have to pay attention, and we're really going to have to do things in good, reasonable time. There's no time to talk to people or to goof around, because there's a lot of things we got to get done. Our goal today is to paint the whole entire face, so it goes from this to this. And in order to do that, I'm going to give step-by-step, baby-step instructions. But for each one, I need you to do it quickly, and in the right spot, and in the right way. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to talk a little bit, give you the instructions. During the instructions, you should be watching the screen to figure out what you need to figure out. And then you should be finding it on your own icon board. And when I finish my instructions, simply dip your brush into the paint and stroke, stroke, you're done. None of these instructions will take super long. So I'm going to put a countdown timer up in that corner. And it's going to go off in about 10 seconds. That's lots of time. But if it's going too fast, your teacher has to hit the pause button just so that everyone can stay together. But if someone gets left behind, well, that's not good. So, teachers, make sure that nobody's panicking. Be ready with that pause button. Okay, let's start. Here we are at the first thing. The nose is made up of three main shapes. There's the area above the nose, kind of where the eyebrows start and it connects to the nose. There's the tip of the nose called the ball of the nose, and there's the kind of connecting bridge of the nose, what goes between the two. So let's start with that U-shaped area at the top. This is going to be between the etched lines, not on the etched lines. So dip your brush and paint right where the picture says to do it. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to put the ball of the nose. So this is a little oval, so not quite a circle, it's more elongated in the up and down direction. So we're going to put that on the ball of the nose again, in between the etching. Go! Excellent. Now let's join the two. You're going to paint the bridge of the nose by going from the top to the bottom, and it goes ever so slightly wider in the middle. And again, it's between the etching. Go! Now, a nose isn't a nose if it doesn't have nostrils. So we're going to paint on both sides of the ball of the nose kind of half moons or a kidney bean shape. This is going to go again inside the etching, not on the carved out lines, but in between the carved lines. And we want to leave a little bit of the dark space right next to the ball of the nose. So take a close look at the picture here. And remember to leave a little bit of a line of the dark space, right where the etching is. Are you ready? Go! All right, probably some of you have done both sides, and probably some of you didn't. So I'm going to give you another 10 seconds to do the other side of the nose. Go. Okay, now let's do the brow bone. This is going to be above both eyebrows and between them, right where the top of that U that we painted earlier is. So it goes right from one end of the eyebrow all the way to the other end of the eyebrow. Ready? And now let's fill in that space, that center of that U. The next part we're going to do is the center of the forehead. Now, it's very important to leave space. We need to leave some of that darker flesh color around the area we're going to do. So make sure that you leave a bunch all around it. Go ahead. Now that center part needs to get filled in. So let's fill it in. I hope it's going good for all of you. Well, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to paint under the eye socket. So this is the top of the cheeks right here. And we're going to go from near the nose, but not touching the nose, all the way to the other side of the eye, and making sure it doesn't go too far. Look at the picture closely. And we're going to make kind of a widened U. This is going to happen below the bottom etched line of all the eye lines. So you see that there's several different lines on the eye. Well, this is going under the bottommost one, and it goes all the way up back to the corner, even though it's not etched all the way. Are you ready? Let's do it. Okay, and don't forget the other side. Let's give you another 10 seconds. Okay, this next part is going to be pretty simple. We're going to go making a line from the corner of the part that we just put on, so the top of the U, and we're going to go along the side of the nose. Now, we're not going to touch the side of the nose. We're just going to go near, leaving a little bit of that darker stuff, and we're going to go to the top of the nostril. Again, not touching the nostril, but just stopping above the nostril. This time, I'm not going to give you 2 sets of 10 seconds, because you can handle this all. It's only a line in 1 set of 10 seconds. Go. All right, now we have to go around the nostrils. So again, leaving that little bit of space, go from where we ended all the way down to the mustache. And yes, this time it can touch the mustache, but it shouldn't touch the nostril. So go in a curve around the nostril. Okay, now we're going to make a little line above the mustache. Now, we don't want this to go on the side of the mustache, just on the top part of the mustache. And yes, this one can touch. Ready? Go! All right, let's put in the top part of the chin. So you know how, well, look at my face. You kind of have an area where hair doesn't grow as much under the lips. It kind of has two hollow spots and the chin is in the middle. Well, on your etching, you had something that goes down, over, up a little bit, down a little again, and all the way up to the lips. We're going to put this spot right underneath that etching, and it's going to look like half circle. Ready? Go for it. All right, now we are going to do those two spots. They're just under the top lip and beside the bottom lip. So, kind of like right there. Ready? Go. Now we're going to put a little bit of a highlight for the fulcrum. The fulcrum's that thing that goes between your nose and your lips. You know how it kind of has a little bit of a divot there? Well, we're going to just highlight one side of that divot, and we're going to paint a very thin line on the etching part. So it's going to look like a backwards letter J, or kind of a curved letter L. Anyway, look at the picture, and let's do it. Now the ears are pretty easy too. We're just going to do around the bottom of the earlobe. And so it's going to look like kind of like a letter J and a letter U in this case. Just go around the bottom on the inside of the etching. So you can see that I'm etched around the ear. You're just going to paint that area in between. Don't forget both sides. Jesus needs to hear us with two ears. Ready? Go. So the neck isn't that hard either. We're just going to draw out the outline of it. And so it's going to be three sides of a funny looking rectangle. We're not going to touch the beard. We're not going to touch Jesus's clothes. But we're going to leave a little bit of space between all those edges. So just look at the picture nice and carefully and go for it. So this time, we're going to do, well, do you remember way back in session number 3 when we were talking about how Jesus's face is all mathematical? Well, there's that one circle that goes from the nose to the tip of the nose, and then that one round circle looks like this. Well, that circle needs the bottom of it. So we're going to draw, or paint, along the bottom part all the way up to the corner of the eye again. So do it just like in this picture, and do it on both sides. Excellent. Now that we've made the circle, it's time to fill it in. Go right ahead. You're welcome. I made the timer go extra slow that time because there's more to paint. But now we're going to do the flesh, the lower eyelid that's, well, it's not just a lower eyelid. It's kind of like the bags of the eye. It's the fleshy part that's inside the eye socket below the eye. Now, if you look carefully, you'll notice that the paint that we're going to put in is not touching the paint below, and it's not touching the eyeball above. It's kind of just in between there. So, take a good close look, get ready, and you can paint both sides. Go ahead. Okay, now that we've finished all the easy stuff, it's time to really make the face look like a face. Do you remember how on the beard you kind of had solid paint and then less solid paint before it went to nothing? Well, we're going to do the same thing with the sides of the cheeks. We're going to take those cheeks and we're going to fade them out into nothing. So they're going to go from solid to less solid to nothing. But we do want to leave some of that original color underneath, the darker color. So let's try and do it with a dry brush again. That's where the paint on it is not very wet. If you need to, you can wipe it off a little bit. And we're going to try and do some gradual transitions. That means going from solid to less, to less, to less, to nothing. And don't forget to leave some of that darker flesh area too. Take a look at the picture nice and close. That's why I zoomed in for you. And do your best. This time, I'm not going to put a timer. I'm just going to leave a spot for people to pause, so your teacher can pause, and then you can resume after. I think this will take a little bit longer. Okay, welcome back. I hope that wasn't too hard for you, because we're going to do a little bit more. This time we're going to be focusing on his forehead. Again, we're going to go from where we have it solid to doing less all around that, including in between the forehead and the brow bone. And it's going to go up, but not totally up, to his hair. So take a good look at the picture again, and I'm going to give you more time so that you can see what you're doing and do your best. All right, have fun with it. Excellent. So Jesus is probably starting to look a lot more like Jesus. We only have one part left to do. Well, kind of two, but I'm going to do them both at the same time. We're going to do the part inside his beard and also on his neck. So same technique and same everything else. You want these to fade downward and the chin to fade downward, and the neck is going to fade from side to side. Look at the picture as best as you can and try and copy it. This is our last step. I hope it goes well for you, and I just want to remind you all, don't forget to pray while you're painting. I'll see you in episode 11. And don't worry, this one was the hardest one.